When you see Nigerians in different parts of the world, they are some of the most industrious people that I know. When you see Zimbabweans with 90% unemployment, when you see Eritreans, when you see the Sudanese or the Malians or the Gambians going to Europe and America, it is not because they like it. If there were conditions that were suitable in Africa, they would struggle at home. Yes. But when you hear a young person say, he'd rather die at sea than to remain at home, that is not human. The human nature is self-preservation. When a human being says that, there must be something so grave at home, something so dehumanizing. That is what African leaders sometimes do not know. When I see them in limousines and in private jets, with motorcades, I say, these men, not all of them, these men, who are they? Where did they come from? That they are so insensitive, that they go to countries and receive 21 gun salutes, and their people are dying at home. Who are they? Are their hearts made of stone? Do they have eyes and they do not see, ears and they do not hear? Are their consciences so seared? I ask. And many Africans ask, even in their silence. But we cannot keep quiet. We must continue to raise our voices, talking not with the arrogance that will inflame their anger, but with the firmness and the clarity that will in the fullness of time, open their eyes. That is our patriotic duty. And I'm going to be seen as unfair in this regard. We have created an environment in this country, and not only in this country, it appears to be an African problem, that losers don't accept they have lost elections. And that elections are only deemed to be free and fair when you win them. Let me give you, of course, I'll be accused of many things by those who don't share my view. But this is my view. We saw this in Mozambique. The losers did not concede. We have seen this in Zambia in the recent past. We have seen it in Angola. We have seen it in Nigeria. We have seen it in Gabon. We have seen it in the Democratic Republic of Congo. We have seen it in Sudan. We have seen it in Uganda. We have seen it in Kenya. We have seen it in Tanzania. We have seen it in Burundi. In other words, there appears to be a problem in Africa that we have no culture of accepting electoral loss, so that if you lose, the elections have been rigged. And I think that this is one of the major agenda items that must be on the table if we as a country choose to dialogue. Why is it that we only accept institutions as working when they make decisions that are in our favor? Allow me. When the Supreme Court nullified the elections in Kenya, the entire NASA brigade said the judiciary has now redeemed itself. They have now demonstrated that they are different from other judiciaries in the world. On the other hand, Jubilee was busy insulting the judiciary as having arrived at a decision which was unfavorable and completely ungoverned by law. On the 20th of November, the Jubilee supporters were in praise of Justice Maraga and his court, and indeed on the 28th, when he arrived at the stadium, he received a hero's welcome. On the other hand, NASA was saying he was intimidated into giving this judgment. You can see. But look at countries that have matured, such as the United States of America. Trump wins the electoral vote. Hillary Clinton wins the popular vote. She's so gracious in defeat. And she says, I have lost. The people of America, as governed by the law of the United States of America, as it is today, have spoken. I concede defeat, and makes a phone call to Donald Trump. You never see that in Africa. And one of the few examples that we would have seen was in Gambia, where Yahya Jammeh conceded defeat. After 1 week, he says, no, I was wrong. I actually did win the election. So there appears to be a problem in Africa. And it's a problem that we as a country must address. It is a problem that possibly the African Union must address, to find why is it that we in this continent are incapable of conducting elections that are acceptable to the winners and the losers, however painful. If we don't, we are going to have major crises going forward. There are now two strands of views about Africa. They are the Afro-pessimists who hold the view that Africa is dead on arrival, that Africa is going nowhere, that in fact they are writing her obituary. Some of them even boldly say that Africa ought to be recolonized. And they say they can't govern themselves. Look at what they are doing to themselves in South Sudan. Look at what they are doing to themselves in Congo. Look at what they are doing to themselves in Somalia. Look at what they are doing to themselves in the Cameroons, what they are doing to themselves in Mali. They should be recolonized. Then they are the Afro-optimists, to which I belong. We, the Afro-optimists, believe that these are unfortunate hiccups and that Africa is beginning to realize that she must do the right things. And when I see certain activities in a number of countries, they are not dramatic, but they are things that are telling me that we can move in the right direction. When I see Angola, Dos Santos leaving office, when I see President Zuma leaving office, when I see Robert Gabriel Mugabe being removed from office in what is a coup that was never a coup, when I see Ian Kama leaving office, when I see John Pombe Magufuli doing his thing in Tanzania, when I see President Akufo doing his thing in Ghana, when I see in Gambia Adama Barrow, when I see in Liberia George Opongwea coming into government, I say, yes, we are moving in some direction. We can never afford the luxury of giving up hope. There are those who think that Africa's problems will be solved through some big bang solution. It is going to be gradual. It is going to be painful. But who said it would be easy? But as Kwame Nkrumah said, let us look neither east nor west. Let us look forward and let us keep in motion. And I think it is Martin Luther King Jr. who put it more dramatically than I can ever master. He said, if you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl, but keep on moving. Africa must move in the direction of unity. And this unity, if you permit me this analogy, is like marriage. In the early days, if it is not an arranged marriage, the fire that keeps it burning is romantic love. But when you get into the deeper aspects of it, love changes and is a combination of tolerance and love. And I believe that that is the recipe. So African countries may not even understand nor like each other because of their tradition, but they must recognize that their general and overall good demands that they move as a team. And therefore, when we go at the dinner table of civilization, we know that we have our domestic problems, but we are not just about to expose it to the outside world. To the outside world, we are united face, and when we have our quarrels, we quarrel in-house. That is what leadership is all about. Selective memories, doing that which is in the general overall good. We can achieve it. And if we can't, we must know that if we don't achieve it, we are endangered. And that danger should force us into a union. The problem in this part of the world is that people invest in this electoral process emotionally and financially, so that when you see people are pained in the manner that they are, it is involved and informed, it is informed by this emotional investment. Because people believe that we as a population, will only benefit if one of our own is the president. So that if a Kamba is a president, that is the only time that the Kambas will feel that we now own the government. If a Luo is a president, that is the only time that the Luos will feel that we are in part of the government. If the Kikuyu and the Kalenjin, and we must liberate ourselves from those jingoistic, narrow ethnic thoughts. What we want at the helm are men and women who have been chosen through a democratic process and will preside over the country in a manner that is for the benefit of all. I can say for myself that I have long liberated myself from such thoughts. It doesn't matter to me who is the president of the Republic of Kenya, what his ethnic extraction is. I don't care. What I want is that that individual has been elected in accordance with the law in an electoral process that is free and fair, and that he governs us in accordance with the law and ensures that all of us have the opportunity to serve in our different capacities. That is what we must do. Easier said than done. Because as Koigi Mwere says in his books towards genocide in Kenya, the curse of negative ethnicity, these ethnic leaders create the impression to those whom they lead that our life will only begin when I am the president, and that if one of your own is not the president, then you cannot thrive. We must liberate ourselves from such primitive thoughts. They are primitive thoughts. There is no other word. I tried to look for a better, less harsh word, but I couldn't get it. It is incumbent upon leaders when they organize protests to ensure that they are there, complete with their own marshals. Because we are saying that we are involved in civil disobedience. If you look at classical civil disobedience as organized by Martin Luther King Jr., they always led, they were always on foot with the marchers, leading from the front to ensure that there will be discipline throughout the process. When Martin Luther King Jr. was organizing the Washington March, he was in front with Jesse Jackson, Andrew Young, and everybody, Ralph Abernathy. He was in front. When Mahatma Gandhi was organizing the march to make salt on the Indian Ocean, he was in front. But we have leaders here who are in cars, on top of cars, they are not there. Once you do that, you succeed in exciting mobs. And once you excite mobs, then you create a situation where it degenerates into chaos. You know, there is, you call them in the classical tradition of defining people as the comparative bourgeoisie. These are the people who lend themselves to being used by the erstwhile colonial power.
Yes.
We must liberate them from themselves. They are capable of being liberated. They have, such individuals have very short-term goals, the goal of self-gratification. They are the ones who actually destroy their countries through corruption. Oh, the comparative bourgeois has always been very dangerous because they are the ones who steal from Africa and they have no faith in Africa. They keep their loot in other parts of the world. And in other parts of the world, such individuals, in China, whether they call them comparative bourgeois or call them anything else, when they are caught, they are executed as an example to others. There is no shortage of them. And somehow this comparative bourgeois, they have the uncanny habit of getting into public office. They are the ones whom we elect in many African countries. And once we elect them, they think they are holding our brief, but they are holding their own brief, and they are asking to be bought by any person who is in the political purchase market.
My goodness.
These are individuals who must be identified. I'm suggesting, therefore, that the African electorate must also be enlightened. The African electorate's affinity for thieves is something that is scaring. We elect into office individuals whose only claim to fame is that they are thieves. To use the words of Liberia's Boima Fanbule, they steal on an industrial scale. We must do that. Is it going to be easy? Perhaps not. Experience has shown that it's not easy. Must we give up? No, not at all. Must we speak about and against it? Yes, because history has also demonstrated that that which is clear must be repeated times without number so it becomes as clear as gold. Will it be achieved in like instant coffee? No. Therefore, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon race. It's not for the faint-hearted. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts, my hopes, and my frustrations. But I remain optimistic.